Be me, Femino. 24 years old, work as a data analyst at a tech company, recently diagnosed autistic after years of thinking I was just weird and broken. Never had a boyfriend, never been kissed, spent most of my 20s on female-oriented image boards, complaining about being forever alone. Not conventionally ugly, just average-looking with terrible social skills and the fashion sense of a confused librarian from 1987. My hobbies include collecting vintage manga, arguing about anime power scaling on forums, and eating the same exact meal for lunch every single day for 3 years straight. Chicken breast, brown rice, steamed broccoli, every day, same portions, prepared the exact same way. Coworkers think I'm weird, but they've stopped asking me to go to happy hour, so that's a win. My apartment is organized by a system that makes perfect sense to me and would probably give a normal person a migraine trying to understand. Books arranged by publication date and color within each year, because obviously that's the only logical system. I have 3 friends total, all online, all met through a niche forum about obscure 90s magical girl anime. My parents keep asking when I'm going to find someone nice, and I keep explaining that statistically speaking, my chances are incredibly low, but they don't appreciate data-driven responses to emotional questions. Work is fine. I'm actually really good at my job because analyzing spreadsheets and finding patterns is literally what my brain does for fun. My boss loves me because I can spot data inconsistencies that everyone else misses. The downside is that I have to attend team meetings where people expect me to make small talk and pretend I care about their weekend plans. I've developed a system of 5 safe responses that work for most situations. That sounds nice? How interesting. I hadn't thought of that. Good point, and I'll have to try that sometime. Works 87% of the time. I've been tracking it. One Monday morning, there's an announcement that we're getting a new senior developer joining the team. His name is Marcus. He's transferring from the West Coast office. Very experienced, blah, blah, blah. I don't pay much attention because new people usually ignore me after the first awkward interaction anyway. He starts the following week, and I'm in the break room at exactly 12:15 p.m., preparing my daily identical lunch when someone walks in. Tall guy, maybe 6'1", dark hair that's slightly too long, wearing a hoodie under a blazer, which is a fashion crime, but somehow works on him. He's wearing headphones around his neck, and I can hear metal music playing faintly. He opens the fridge, stares at the contents for exactly 47 seconds, I counted, then closes it without taking anything. Opens it again, stares for another 30 seconds, closes it again. I relate to this on a spiritual level. Too many choices? He turns around, looks startled that someone spoke to him. Yeah, I brought 3 different lunch options, and I can't decide which one I actually want to eat. That's a common decision paralysis response. You could try assigning each option a number and using a random number generator. He stares at me for a second. That's actually genius. Hold on. Pulls out his phone, does exactly that, ends up with option 2, which is apparently leftover curry. Thanks. I'm Marcus, by the way. Just started in senior dev. I know, they announced it last week. I'm Riley, data analyst. He sits down at the table across from me without asking if it's okay, which would normally annoy me, but somehow doesn't. Is that the same lunch you had last Monday? Yes, I eat the same lunch every day. It eliminates decision fatigue and ensures consistent nutritional intake. That's actually really smart. I should probably do that, but I'd get bored. I don't get bored of food, I get bored of people asking me about my food choices. He laughs, and it's not a polite laugh. It's a genuine one. Fair enough. I'll make a note not to do that. We eat in comfortable silence, which is rare because most people feel the need to fill every second with meaningless noise. After lunch, I go back to my desk and don't think much about the interaction. Except I do think about it. I think about it several times that afternoon, which is unusual because I typically don't think about social interactions unless they went badly. Next day, same time, I'm in the break room again. Marcus comes in at 12:17 p.m., 2 minutes later than yesterday. Random number generator said option 1 today, which is a sandwich. You're actually using the system? Yeah, it's working great. I haven't stood in front of the fridge like an idiot for 10 minutes this entire week. He sits down in the same seat as yesterday. We eat in silence again, but this time he's reading something on his phone and occasionally showing me memes about programming. Some of them are actually funny. I do the sharp exhale through my nose that indicates amusement. This becomes a pattern over the next 2 weeks. Every day at approximately 12:15 to 12:20 p.m., Marcus comes to the break room, uses his random number generator, sits in the same spot, and we eat lunch together. Sometimes we talk about work stuff, sometimes about completely random topics like whether Batman could beat Superman in a fight if he had 6 months to prepare. Obviously, yes. I realize I'm enjoying these lunches, which is suspicious because I typically prefer eating alone. My online friends notice I'm posting less during lunch hours. One of them, who goes by Magical Girl Enjoyer 42, messages me asking if everything is okay. I explain the situation. She responds, "OMG, Riley, are you making a friend?" I don't know, maybe. It's confusing. Does he make you feel anxious? No, which is weird. Most people make me feel like I'm being observed by a predator even when they're being nice. That's good. Keep having lunch with him. Easy for her to say. She has a boyfriend and actual social skills. Week 3 of Marcus working here. He shows up to lunch with a Sailor Moon keychain attached to his laptop bag. I notice immediately because I have the same one attached to my work bag. Is that the 1990s original series merchandise or a modern reproduction? He looks surprised, I noticed. Original. Got it at a convention in 2003. I was like 12 and thought Tuxedo Mask was the coolest. Tuxedo Mask is objectively useless. Sailor Venus has better combat stats in literally every category. Okay, but consider this. He has a cape? A cape doesn't compensate for lack of combat effectiveness. We argue about Sailor Moon power scaling for the entire lunch break. It's the best conversation I've had in months. When we're walking back to our desks, he mentions there's a retro anime convention coming to the city in 2 months. I'm thinking about going. The guest list looks pretty good. My brain immediately short-circuits because I've been planning to go to that convention for 6 months. I have a spreadsheet with the panel schedule optimized for maximum efficiency. I'm going to that. Oh, cool. Maybe we'll run into each other. We could coordinate schedules to ensure we do run into each other. I have a spreadsheet with all the panels I want to attend organized by priority and time. You made a spreadsheet for a convention? Yes, otherwise how would you optimize your time? He grins. Can you send me that spreadsheet? That's actually incredibly helpful. I send it to him within 5 minutes of getting back to my desk. He responds, "This is the most beautiful spreadsheet I've ever seen. It has color coding and estimated walking times between locations. I feel proud, which is a weird emotion to have about someone appreciating my organizational skills." Over the next few weeks, Marcus and I start talking more outside of lunch. He stops by my desk to ask questions about data stuff that he probably doesn't actually need to ask, but I answer anyway. We have an ongoing debate via email about whether the original Full Metal Alchemist or Brotherhood is better. Brotherhood is objectively superior, and I have metrics to prove it. My coworker Janet notices and corners me in the bathroom one day. "So you and Marcus seem to be getting close. We have compatible interests and similar communication styles." "Riley, honey, I think he might like you. We're friends. That's the definition of liking someone." "No, I mean like you." I hate this phrasing. Why can't people just say what they mean? "That's statistically unlikely. I've never had anyone interested in me romantically in my entire life." "Maybe because you never noticed. You should ask him out." "Absolutely not. That would ruin our current friendship dynamic, and I don't want to risk that." Janet sighs dramatically. "You're impossible, but fine. Just keep me updated." I go back to my desk feeling confused and slightly anxious. The idea that Marcus might see me as more than a lunch friend is terrifying. I've spent years on femcel forums complaining about being unlovable, and now someone might actually tolerate my presence romantically? Impossible. Janet is reading too much into it. I decide to ignore this information and continue as normal. Convention is now 3 weeks away, and Marcus and I have coordinated our schedules. Turns out we want to attend like 80% of the same panels, which makes logical sense given our similar interests. "We should just go together. Easier than trying to meet up between panels," he suggests casually during the lunch. My brain is screaming danger, but my mouth says that would be more efficient. "Cool, I can drive if you want. Parking is going to be a nightmare anyway, so carpooling makes sense." I agree before my anxiety can catch up with my words. Spend the next 3 weeks internally panicking while externally appearing completely normal. My online friends are losing it. "Riley, this is a date!" It's not a date, it's 2 friends optimizing convention attendance through carpooling. That's what a date is. I refuse to believe this until I have concrete evidence. Week before the convention, Marcus asks if I want to grab dinner after work to finalize our convention plans. There's a ramen place near here that's pretty good. I've been to that ramen place exactly once and had a sensory nightmare with the texture of the noodles. But I say yes anyway because apparently I'm capable of compromising now, which is new. We go to the ramen place at 6 p.m. on a Thursday. It's less crowded than last time, which helps my anxiety. Marcus orders the spicy miso ramen. I order the curry ramen because it has a different noodle texture that I remember being acceptable. So I wanted to ask you something. Oh no, this is how every bad conversation starts. Do you want to maybe make this a whole day thing? The convention opens at 10 a.m., but there's a breakfast place nearby that does amazing taiyaki. We could go before. Taiyaki, the fish-shaped pastry with various fillings. Yeah, they have red bean, custard, chocolate, like 8 different options. That would be acceptable. Cool, so I'll pick you up at 8:30 a.m. then? I agree, and then we spend the rest of dinner discussing our top priority panels and which artist alley vendors we want to visit. Marcus pays for dinner before I can offer to split it. You can get the taiyaki, he says when I protest. On the drive home, I'm analyzing every aspect of the interaction. Was that a date? It had date-like characteristics. One person paying, making extended plans, food-based activity. But it could also just be friendly behavior. I don't have enough data. I post about it on my Femcell forum that night. The responses are unanimously, "Oh my God, Riley, he's into you." I remain skeptical, but also terrified and maybe slightly hopeful. Hope is a dangerous emotion that I've avoided for most of my adult life. Week passes in a blur of work and anxiety. I changed my outfit 7 times the night before. The convention before settling on black jeans, a vintage card captor Sakura t-shirt, and my comfortable sneakers. I own exactly one bra that isn't a sports bra, and I wear it even though it's uncomfortable, because Janet said dress nice when I mentioned the convention plans. Marcus picks me up at exactly 8:30 a.m. in a clean car, which I appreciate because I cannot handle messy cars. He's wearing dark jeans and a black button-up with the sleeves rolled up, and he looks really good, which is an observation I file away as irrelevant. Ready for the most optimized convention experience of your life? I've been ready since I made that spreadsheet 6 months ago. We get taiyaki, I get red bean, he gets custard. We share both because apparently that's something I'm comfortable doing now. The convention center is already getting crowded by the time we arrive at 9:45 a.m. Marcus gets us through registration efficiently, and we hit the dealer's hall first per my schedule. I find a vendor selling original 1990s Sailor Moon manga in Japanese, and I might be vibrating with excitement. You should get them. They're $50 each, and there are 12 volumes. Okay, but when will you see them again? Plus, you've been wanting to practice your Japanese anyway. How does he know that? Oh, right, I mentioned it like 3 weeks ago during the lunch. He remembered. I buy 6 volumes because that's my compromise between financial responsibility and desire. Marcus buys a vintage Evangelion poster that he says will go perfectly in his home office. First panel is about the evolution of magical girl anime from the 1960s to present. We sit in the back row and I take detailed notes on my phone. Marcus whispers commentary throughout that actually ADDS to my understanding rather than distracting me. When the panel ends, we have 47 minutes until the next one. Artist alley, he suggests. We spend the break time looking at fan art and I find someone selling the most beautiful hand-painted illustration of Princess Tutu. It's $80 and I'm debating whether it's worth it when Marcus appears next to me. That's gorgeous, you should get it. It's expensive. It's original art from a series you love. That's not expensive. That's an investment in your happiness. I buy it, and the artist throws in a free print. Day continues according to schedule with only minor deviations. Lunch took 12 minutes longer than anticipated because the line was unexpectedly long. We attend 6 panels total, visit Artist Alley twice, and spend an hour in the manga library where Marcus reads while I organize my purchases. It's 6 p.m. when we finally leave, both carrying bags of merchandise and completely exhausted. That was the most successful convention experience I've ever had. Your spreadsheet is a work of art. I feel that warm pride feeling again. We should celebrate with dinner. There's a Korean BBQ place near my apartment that's really good. My apartment is 40 minutes away. His is 20 minutes in. The opposite direction. He's choosing a restaurant near my place, specifically. Okay, we get to the restaurant at 7 p.m. and it's packed, but we get seated within 15 minutes. Marcus orders for both of us because I'm overwhelmed by the menu, and he somehow knows exactly what I'll like. The food is amazing, and we talk about the convention, our favorite panels, the weird guy who was dressed as a chair for some reason. I had a really good time today. Me too, we should do this again when the next convention comes to town. Riley, can I ask you something? The anxiety spikes. Yes. Do you want to go out sometime? Like on a date, not a friend thing? My brain is buffering like a slow internet connection. You want to date me? Yeah, I've wanted to ask for weeks, but I wasn't sure if you were interested or if I was reading the signals wrong. I don't give signals. I'm autistic. I barely understand normal communication, let alone flirting. I know, you told me 3 weeks ago during lunch. That's actually one of the things I really like about you. That I'm autistic? That you're direct and honest and you don't play social games. I always know where I stand with you. I'm processing this information at the speed of a very confused turtle. I've never been on a date before. I don't know how to do this. Neither have I, really. I've had like 2 relationships and they were both disasters because I'm apparently too intense about my interests. I'm literally planning to spend $600 on vintage manga over the next 3 months. I don't think you're too intense. He laughs. So is that a yes? I need to think about it. This is a significant life change and I don't make those quickly. That's fair. Take your time. We finish dinner and he drives me home. Before I get out of the car, he hands me a small bag. I got you something from Artist Alley. Was going to give it to you at the end anyway. It's a handmade bookmark with Princess Tutu on it, matching the painting I bought. Thank you, this is thoughtful. You're welcome. Text me when you've made a decision. No pressure though. I go inside and immediately call an emergency meeting with my online friends via Discord. Spend 3 hours discussing the entire day, analyzing every interaction, reviewing the evidence. Final consensus. Marcus is genuinely interested. I'm interested back, but terrified. I should say yes, but take it slow. I lie in bed staring at my ceiling until 2 a.m., thinking about how Marcus remembered my casual comment about learning Japanese, how he paid attention to what panels I was most excited about, how he didn't make fun of my spreadsheet, but actually appreciated it, how he makes me feel like being autistic isn't something I need to apologize for or hide. My face when a guy actually asked me out after years of thinking I was unlovable. That feeling when you realize maybe the femcel forums were wrong and you're not actually doomed to be alone forever. Be me. Spent the entire weekend having an existential crisis about Marcus, asking me out on an actual date. My online friends are constantly messaging me, asking if I've responded yet. Give her time, this is huge for Riley. Magical Girl Enjoyer 42 types in the group chat. It's been 48 hours, he's gonna think she's rejecting him, another friend argues. I'm sitting at my desk Sunday night staring at my phone like it's a bomb that might explode. The truth is, I want to say yes, but the idea of dating someone, of being vulnerable and potentially screwing this up, is absolutely terrifying. I've built my entire identity around being the girl who never gets chosen, who's too weird and too much and not enough all at the same time. What if I say yes and he realizes I'm actually terrible at relationships? What if my autistic traits that he finds endearing now become annoying after a few weeks? What if I have a meltdown in front of him and he decides I'm too much work? But then I remember how comfortable lunch has been, how he didn't make me feel weird about my spreadsheet, how he remembered tiny details about me. I pick up my phone and type, "Yes, I would like to go on a date with you, but I need you to know that I don't have experience with this and I will probably be awkward." Delete it, sounds too negative. "Yes, let's go on a date. When were you thinking?" Delete it, sounds too casual. "Yes." Delete it, sounds too abrupt. Finally settle on, "Yes, I would like to go on a date with you, but I need clear communication about expectations and boundaries because I don't understand unspoken social rules." Hit send before I can overthink it more. He responds within 3 minutes. "Perfect. I also prefer clear communication. Makes everything easier. How about dinner this Friday at 7? I agree and spend the next 5 days having various levels of panic. Consult my online friends about what to wear. They provide 47 different opinions, which is not helpful. Janet notices I'm anxious at work and corners me again on Thursday. Big date tomorrow? How did you know about that? Riley, you've been stress eating the same granola bar for 3 days and you only do that when you're anxious about something. The fact that she's correct is annoying. Marcus and I are going to dinner tomorrow and I don't know what to wear or how to act or what the protocol is. First of all, breathe. Second of all, just be yourself because clearly he likes you. Myself is anxious and weird. Then be anxious and weird. That's authentic. Guys appreciate authenticity. I'm skeptical, but I don't have better advice. Friday arrives and I've changed outfits 6 times before settling on black jeans, a nice dark green blouse that Janet helped me pick out last year, and my comfortable ankle boots. I own makeup, but don't really know how to use it beyond basic foundation and mascara. Marcus picks me up at exactly 7 p.m., looking nervous, which somehow makes me feel better because at least I'm not the only one. You look really nice. Thank you, you also look nice. He's wearing dark jeans and a button-up shirt, and he looks like he actually put effort in, which I appreciate. We go to an Italian restaurant that's quieter than most places, dim lighting, booths instead of open tables. I specifically picked this place because I know you don't like loud restaurants, he mentions casually while we're being seated. He remembered that detail from a conversation we had 5 weeks ago. We sit down and there's a moment of awkward silence. So, I've never actually been on a first date before. Me neither. Well, I went on 2 dates in college, but they were disasters, so I'm not counting them. What made them disasters? First girl spent the entire time on her phone. Second girl told me I was too serious because I didn't laugh at her jokes about my music taste. What's your music taste? Mostly metal, some prog rock, video game soundtracks, basically anything that normies think is weird. I listen to anime openings and J-pop almost exclusively. I don't think I can judge anyone's music taste. He grins and some of the tension dissolves. We order food and fall into easier conversation about work, about the convention, about a new anime season starting next week. I've been meaning to ask, why data analysis? What got you into that? I like patterns. I like when things make sense. Human behavior is chaotic, but data has rules and structure. That's actually beautiful in a weird way. Most people think it's boring. Most people are wrong about a lot of things. Dinner is actually nice, like genuinely enjoyable. I'm not constantly monitoring my behavior or worrying about saying the wrong thing. When the check comes, Marcus pays again despite my protests. You can get the next one. The casual assumption that there will be a next one makes my heart do a weird flutter thing. We walk back to his car and he asks if I want to go get ice cream. There's a place that's open late and they have like 30 flavors, including some weird ones. Define weird. They have black sesame, lavender honey, and something called unicorn tears that I'm afraid to try. We go to the ice cream place and I get matcha green tea. He gets salted caramel. We sit outside even though it's slightly cold. Can I ask you something personal? Oh no, here it comes. The question that will make this all fall apart. Yes. You mentioned you're on femcel forums sometimes. Do you really think you're undateable? I'm quiet for a moment, trying to formulate an honest answer. I spent my entire teens and early 20s being told I was too much or not enough, too weird, too intense, too autistic even before I had a diagnosis for it. Every social interaction felt like a test I was failing, and eventually I just accepted that romantic relationships weren't for people like me. People like you? Neurodivergent, socially awkward, obsessive about niche interests, unable to do small talk or flirt, or any of the normal things that lead to relationships. He's listening intently, not interrupting. I found these forums where other women felt the same way, and it was comforting to not be alone in it, but also kind of toxic because we all just reinforced each other's belief that we were doomed. For what it's worth, I think every single thing you just listed as a negative is actually what makes you interesting. I'm so tired of people who have the same boring hobbies and opinions about everything. You say that now, but what about when I have a meltdown because the restaurant changes their menu and I can't have my usual order? Then we leave and go somewhere else, or we figure it out together. I'm not going to abandon you because you have needs. I want to believe him, but years of rejection have made me skeptical. I'm going to be difficult to date. Riley, I'm 27 years old, and my last girlfriend broke up with me because I spent too much time playing video games and not enough time at her friends' parties. I'm not exactly a prize either. Video games are a valid hobby with measurable skill progression and achievement systems. See, this is why I like you. We finish our ice cream and he drives me home. At my door, there's an awkward moment where neither of us knows what to do. I had a really good time tonight. Me too. Thank you for picking a quiet restaurant. Can we do this again? Maybe next weekend? Yes, I would like that. He leans in slightly and I panic. I'm not ready for kissing yet. I need to build up to physical contact gradually. That's totally fine. Thank you for telling me. He squeezes my hand briefly and leaves. I go inside and immediately text my online friends. I survived a date. They respond with celebration emojis and demands for details. Spend an hour recounting everything while lying in bed, feeling cautiously happy. At work Monday, Marcus and I fall back into our lunch routine, but now there's an added layer of something. Not awkwardness exactly, more like awareness. Janet is giving me knowing looks from across the office. Tuesday, he asks if I want to come over to his apartment on Saturday to watch anime and order takeout. I have Crunchyroll, Funimation, Netflix, basically every streaming service, and I just got a new sound system. What kind of takeout? Your choice. I'm flexible. I agree and spend the rest of the week being nervous about going to his apartment. This feels more intimate than a public date somehow. Saturday arrives and I show up at his place at 6 p.m. with a bag containing my own snacks because I don't know what he has and I need safe foods, my water bottle, can't drink from cups I'm not familiar with, and a change of clothes in case something spills on me. His apartment is clean, which immediately reduces my anxiety. Books organized on shelves, movie posters on the walls, gaming set up in one corner. Everything has a place. Sorry if it's a bit much. I like things organized. This is perfect. I can't handle messy spaces. We order Thai food. I get pad Thai with chicken. Same thing I always get. He gets something spicy that makes my eyes water just looking at it. Settle on his couch to watch the new season of an anime we both wanted to check out. First episode is good. Second episode is great. By the third episode, I've unconsciously moved closer to him on the couch. He notices but doesn't comment, just shifts slightly, so I'm more comfortable. Around episode 5, I'm leaning against him, and his arm is around my shoulders, and this is the most physical contact I've had with another human in years. Is this okay? Yes, surprisingly yes. We watch 2 more episodes before I start getting tired. I should probably go home. You could stay over if you want. I have a guest room. No pressure, though. The logical part of my brain says I should go home. The part that's comfortable and happy and doesn't want this to end says yes. I don't have my routine items. I have extra toothbrushes, face wash, and the guest room has blackout curtains. Blackout curtains are my weakness. Okay. He shows me the guest room, which is indeed very dark and quiet. I text my friends to let them know I'm staying over. They freak out. Change into the backup clothes I brought, do my minimal nighttime routine with the supplies he provided. Lie in the extremely comfortable guest bed, thinking about how the evening went. No pressure, no expectations, just comfortable coexistence. Maybe I can actually do this. Sunday morning, I wake up at 8 a.m. exactly like always. Smell coffee and bacon. Find Marcus in the kitchen making breakfast. Morning? I wasn't sure what you'd want, so I made bacon, eggs, and toast. Very standard. That's perfect, actually. We eat breakfast and watch YouTube videos about video game lore. I should probably head home soon. I have laundry and meal prep to do. Do you want help with meal prep? I need to do mine too. We could do it together. This is weird, right? People don't do meal prep together on a second date. Except we're both neurodivergent and find comfort in routine, and this actually makes perfect sense. Yes, we go to my apartment and spend 3 hours cooking chicken breast, rice, and various vegetables in assembly line fashion. Marcus brought containers and makes his own meals alongside mine. This is the most romantic thing anyone's ever done with me, I say without thinking. Meal prep? Yes, you're participating in my routine without making it weird or trying to change it. Why would I try to change something that works for you? I don't have an answer for that. Over the next month, we fall into a pattern of seeing each other 2 to 3 times a week. Sometimes it's dinner, sometimes it's hanging out at one of our apartments. Once it's going to a museum during off-peak hours because I mentioned I like museums but hate crowds. My online friends are thrilled but also suspicious. When is he going to show his red flags in one of the masks? Maybe he doesn't have any? Everyone has red flags, Riley. I'm waiting for the other shoe to drop, for Marcus to suddenly reveal he's actually been tolerating my weirdness and is now done with it. 6 weeks into dating, I have my first meltdown in front of him. We're at a restaurant that I specifically said I didn't want to go to, but Marcus really wanted to try, and I agreed to be accommodating. It's loud, the lighting is wrong, there are too many people, the menu is overwhelming. I can feel the panic building, but I'm trying to hold it together. Riley, you're doing the thing where you dig your nails into your palms. I'm fine. You're not fine. Do you want to leave? You wanted to eat here. I want you to be comfortable more than I want to eat here. Let's go. We leave, and I make it to his car before I start crying. Not sad crying, overwhelmed crying. The kind where I can't stop and can't explain and just need it to pass. Marcus doesn't try to touch me or talk to me. He just sits in the driver's seat and waits. After 10 minutes, I've calmed down enough to speak. I'm sorry, I ruined dinner. You didn't ruin anything. I should have listened when you said you didn't want to go there. I was trying to be flexible. I don't need you to be flexible to the point of having a meltdown. Next time, just tell me no. We end up getting drive-through and eating in a quiet parking lot. Do you still want to date me after seeing that? Riley, that was barely anything. My little sister is autistic and I've seen actual meltdowns. You held it together remarkably well in a bad situation. Your sister's autistic? Yeah, she's 19 now, diagnosed when she was 7. I grew up learning how to help her navigate the world. This explains so much about why he's so understanding. Is that why you're not weird about my autism? Partially, but also I just genuinely like who you are, autism included. I kiss him for the first time right there in the parking lot of a McDonald's. It's awkward and brief, and I immediately pull back. Sorry, I didn't ask first. You can kiss me without asking. I'm okay with that level of spontaneous physical contact. He's grinning. So we're doing this? Officially dating? I thought we already were officially dating. I know, but I wanted verbal confirmation. Yes, we are officially dating. I will update my relationship status on Discord. He laughs. 3 months into the relationship, and I've mostly stopped waiting for it to fall apart. Marcus has met my online friends via video chat. They interrogated him for 45 minutes. He passed. I've met his sister Emily, who is delightful and owns more manga than me, which I didn't think was possible. Work knows we're dating because Janet wouldn't shut up about it until we confirmed. I knew it. I knew from the first week that you two would be perfect together. My parents are thrilled I finally have a boyfriend, but also keep asking invasive questions about when we're getting married. Mom, it's been 3 months. Your father and I were engaged after 2 months. That was 1987, and also you're not a good example of relationship pacing. Marcus thinks my family is hilarious. I think they're embarrassing. We agree to disagree. We have our first real argument about 4 months in. Marcus wants to go to his friend's birthday party and wants me to come. It'll be like 20 people, mostly his college friends. Pretty casual. 20 people is not casual. That's a crowd. I don't know any of them. You'll know me. I don't do well at parties. I know, but I really want you there and I'll stay with you the whole time. I reluctantly agree. The party is exactly as overwhelming as I predicted. Loud music, people drinking, someone spills beer on the floor and it's sticky. I last 45 minutes before I need to escape to the bathroom. Marcus finds me sitting on the closed toilet lid trying to calm down. Do you want to go? You're having fun. I'm having an okay time, but I'd rather leave with you than stay without you. Won't your friends think I'm rude? My friends can think whatever they want. You're my priority. We leave, and I feel guilty the entire drive home. I'm sorry I can't just be normal at social events. Marcus actually pulls the car over. Riley, look at me. I look at him. I don't want you to be normal. Normal is boring. I want you to be you, and part of that is knowing your limits and respecting them. But you wanted to stay at the party. I wanted to introduce you to my friends, but not at the expense of your mental health. We can do smaller meetups later, 1 or 2 people at a time. You do that? Obviously. Why is this surprising? Because everyone always expects me to just push through and mask and be normal. Well, I'm not everyone. I'm the guy who meal preps with you and watches anime for 6 hours straight and thinks your spreadsheets are art. I kiss him again, longer this time. We sit in his parked car, making out like teenagers for 20 minutes. Month 5, he tells me he loves me. We're building a Lego set together, the Death Star, 4,000 pieces, extremely complex, and I'm explaining the engineering behind the structural design. You know what I love about you? My extensive knowledge of Lego architecture. That, but also the way you get excited about things. The way your whole face lights up when you're explaining something you're passionate about. I'm focusing very hard on placing a specific piece correctly. I love you, Riley. I dropped the Lego piece. You don't have to say it back. I just wanted you to know. I'm processing this information at maximum capacity. I have never said that to anyone romantically before. That's okay. I think I love you too, but I'm not entirely sure I understand the emotion correctly. That's also okay. Can I have time to analyze my feelings? Take all the time you need. 3 days later, I text him at 2 a.m. I definitely love you. I've been monitoring my emotional responses, and you consistently make me feel happy, safe, and valued, which I believe constitutes love." He responds, "That's the most beautifully autistic love confession I've ever received. Is that acceptable?" It's perfect. Month 6, Marcus's company offers him a promotion. The catch is, it requires relocating to their main office in another city. He tells me over lunch at work, looking stressed. It's an amazing opportunity. Senior architect position, significant pay increase. That's good. But it means leaving here, leaving this. He gestures between us. My heart drops into my stomach. When would you leave? I'd have 2 months to decide, then another month to relocate if I accept. We're both quiet. What do you want to do? Honestly, I want the job, but I don't want to lose you. Those goals are contradictory. I know. We finish lunch in uncomfortable silence. I spend the next week spiraling. My online friends try to be supportive, but they're also realistic. Long distance is really hard, Riley. Maybe you could move with him? I can't just move, I have a job here. My entire routine is here. But you love him. Do I love him enough to completely upend my life? The idea of moving to a new city, finding a new job, establishing new routines, it's overwhelming. But the idea of losing Marcus is worse. I do what I do best. I make a spreadsheet, pros and cons of moving, financial analysis, job market research, housing costs. I spend 12 hours on this spreadsheet. When I'm done, I have a clear answer that terrifies me. I ask Marcus to come over. I made a spreadsheet about the situation. Of course you did. I show him the extensive analysis. According to my research, the city you'd be moving to has a strong tech job market, lower cost of living than here, and several museums I'd enjoy. Riley, what are you saying? I'm saying that if you want to take the job, I'll move with you. Are you sure? That's a huge change. I'm terrified, but I'm more terrified of losing you. You're the first person who's ever made me feel like my autism is okay, like I don't have to constantly apologize for existing. He's staring at me with this expression I can't quite read. I love you so much. I love you too, even though the idea of moving makes me want to throw up. We'll take it slow, plan everything carefully. I'll help you establish new routines. I'll need a very detailed moving plan. I'll make you a spreadsheet. See, this is why I love you. Marcus accepts the promotion. We spend the next 3 months planning the move with military precision. I give notice at my job. They're sad to see me go, but understand. Janet cries at my going away party. You were the weirdest coworker I ever had, and I'm gonna miss you so much. You were invasive and nosy, but in a way that was ultimately caring. That's the nicest thing you've ever said to me. My online friends throw me a virtual going away party. Our baby is growing up and moving for a boy. I'm moving for myself and my relationship. The boy is just a factor. Whatever you say, Riley, we're proud of you. Moving day is exactly as stressful as anticipated. I have a meltdown in the empty apartment surrounded by boxes. Marcus orders pizza and we eat it sitting on the floor. We're going to be okay. How do you know? Because we're a team and we plan everything and we communicate. Most relationships fail because people don't do those things. First week in the new city is rough. Everything is different. I don't have my routines. I don't know where anything is. I have 3 meltdowns and consider moving back. Marcus takes time off work to help me establish new patterns. We find a grocery store that has my safe foods, a quiet coffee shop for working, a park for walking. Slowly, gradually, it starts to feel manageable. I get a job at a tech company that's actually better than my old one. My new coworkers are mostly nerds who appreciate my direct communication style. Make friends with another autistic woman in my department who introduces me to the local anime club. 3 months after moving, I realize I'm happy. Different happy than before, but good happy. Marcus's new job is demanding but fulfilling. He comes home excited about projects. We've established new routines: Sunday meal prep, Wednesday anime nights, Saturday museum or convention visits. My online friends visit for a weekend and meet Marcus in person finally. They approve, though one of them stage whispers, "He's too good looking, what's wrong with him?" He plays World of Warcraft and owns every Gundam model kit ever made. Oh, okay, that tracks. 8 months after moving, Marcus and I are building another Lego set, Hogwarts Castle, even more complex than the Death Star. I've been thinking about something. That's generally what brains do. Smart Alec. I've been thinking about us, about the future. I also think about the future, mostly about whether they'll ever make a good live-action Cowboy Bebop. Riley, I'm trying to be serious. I put down my Lego pieces. Okay, serious mode activated. I know it's probably too early and we're still adjusting to the move, but I want you to know that I see a long-term future with you. Define long-term. Like marriage and maybe kids if you want them and growing old together long-term. My brain is buffering again. I have never seriously considered marriage because I never thought anyone would want to marry me. Well, I do, not right now, but eventually, when we're both ready. I would need significant advance notice to plan a wedding. They seem very overwhelming. We could elope? That would be more efficient. Is that a yes to eventual marriage? Yes, that is a yes to eventual marriage, pending continued relationship success and mutual compatibility. You're so romantic. I try. He kisses me, and we go back to building Hogwarts. Year after moving, I'm having lunch with my new coworker friend, discussing our respective relationships. So you and Marcus are pretty serious? Yes, we're planning to get engaged within the next 6 months. That's exciting. How did you guys meet? We worked together at my old job. He sat in the same spot in the break room every day and didn't make fun of my identical lunch. That's it? That's what made you fall for him? That and approximately 400 other small things that accumulated over time into love. You're such a data analyst even about your own relationship. It's my greatest strength and my most annoying quality. That night, Marcus and I are cooking dinner together when he suddenly gets down on one knee. I'm holding a spatula and wearing an apron that says, "I like big bunts and I cannot lie." This is happening right now? I was going to wait, but then I realized you hate surprises and would prefer to know it's coming. That's accurate. Riley, you're the weirdest, most wonderful person I've ever met. Will you marry me? The ring is perfect. Simple band with a small sapphire, because I mentioned once that I don't like diamonds. Yes, obviously yes. Did you think I'd say no after we discussed this 8 months ago? I mean, you could have changed your mind. I don't change my mind once I've analyzed all the data. We kiss and the dinner almost burns, but we catch it in time. I immediately text my online friends with a photo of the ring. They respond with caps lock screaming and celebration gifs. Our femcel queen is getting married! I was never really a femcel, I was just late to the relationship game. Whatever, we're claiming this as a victory for autistic women everywhere. Call my parents, who are thrilled. Finally, I was worried you'd never settle down. Mom, I'm 25. I had you at 25. And look how well that turned out. Marcus calls his family and his sister screams so loud I can hear it through the phone. I'm going to be a bridesmaid, right? If Riley wants bridesmaids, yes. I don't know if I want a traditional wedding. Emily immediately starts planning a non-traditional wedding without asking. 6 months later, we get married at a small anime convention in a private ceremony. I wear a custom dress inspired by Princess Tutu. Marcus wears a suit with a subtle Triforce pattern. Our wedding party is small. Emily, Janet, who flew in from my old city, and my 2 online friends who I finally met in person. Instead of a traditional reception, we rent out a small venue and host an anime viewing party with our favorite people. My vows are written on note cards and include statistical data about relationship success. Marcus, you have consistently increased my happiness metrics by an average of 47% across all measured categories. Everyone laughs, but I'm serious. His vows are more traditional, but include, I promise to always split taiyaki with you and respect your spreadsheet organizational systems. Our first dance is to an orchestral anime soundtrack. It's the most perfectly US wedding I could have imagined. Honeymoon is 2 weeks in Japan visiting anime studios, museums, and eating all the food. I practice my Japanese. Marcus takes 3,000 photos. We come back exhausted and happy and ready to start our actual married life. Settle into new routines as a married couple, which honestly aren't that different from before. I keep my name because paperwork is overwhelming and Marcus doesn't care. We adopt a cat who is also autistic. Probably the vet says she has quirks. Her name is Sailor Moon and she only eats one specific type of food and attacks anyone who touches her wrong. She's perfect for us, Marcus says while she's hissing at the neighbor. 2 years into marriage, I'm scrolling through my old femcel forum posts. They're depressing, full of self-hatred and certainty that I'd never find love. I almost delete my account, but instead I make one final post. Hey everyone. It's been a while. I know some of you remember me. I just wanted to say that I was wrong about being unlovable. I found someone who appreciates my autism, my weird interests, my need for routine, and all the things I thought made me undateable. I'm not saying this to brag. I'm saying this because I needed to hear it years ago. Being neurodivergent doesn't mean you're doomed. It just means you need to find someone who appreciates you for who you are, not despite who you are. Stop calling yourselves femcels. You're not involuntarily celibate. You're just women who haven't found compatible partners yet, and that's okay. I post it and they log out for the last time. Don't need that community anymore. I have a real life with real people who actually know me. Marcus comes home from work and finds me crying at my computer. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. I'm just thinking about how miserable I used to be and how happy I am now. That's good crying then. Yes, good crying. The weird kind where you're overwhelmed by gratitude. He hugs me and Sailor Moon hisses from her cat tree because she hates displays of affection. We should order dinner. I don't feel like cooking. Thai food? Obviously. We order our usual orders because why fix what isn't broken? Spend the evening watching anime and building yet another Lego set. This is my life now. Routine, comfort, love, acceptance. Never thought I'd have this. Spent years convinced I was broken and unlovable. Turns out I just needed to find someone equally weird who thinks spreadsheets are romantic. My face when I went from femcel to happily married by finding a guy who appreciates my autistic traits instead of tolerating them. That feeling when you realize the love you always wanted was waiting in a break room, eating lunch at the same time every single day.